Welcome everybody to Flights of Fandom, Back Alley Charmers. It's a Dishonored flight, so get ready for some more heist-related ne'er-do-wells and hijinks in the middle of Dunwall in the Empire of the Isles. I am, as always, your GM slash resident Great Zamino, Zach. I use he, him pronouns, and I am joined by four wonderful cast members this week. Starting from all the way to the top left of the overlay, Caitlin, if you'd like to go ahead, introduce yourself to to our viewers.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I am playing Dr. Ripley Harlow. Both of us use she, her pronouns. I am a horror author of limited renown. I have a couple books out. Voluminous Dead is one of them. Yellow Jessamine means another. I have a Vampire the Masquerade novella that's coming out in print in a couple of months. And my next book, The Death of Jane Lawrence, is The Creepy Hands Behind Me. That'll be out in October. You can find me on Twitter at CSEE_Starling.
Excellent. And moving counterclockwise, as is my wont for this series, down the overlay, Marcy, if you'd introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, it's still me, still Marcy, aka Experimental Madness, and I'm very excited to be back for part 2 of Back Alley Charmers. I am playing the Whisperer Grissell Wake, and while my pronouns are she, her, Grissell's are she or they because she has moved very far beyond the concept of what a gender is.
Following once again counterclockwise, Morgan, if you go ahead and introduce yourself for the stream.
Hi, I'm Morgan. You can find me on Twitter at AzingerM, AZINGERM. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm playing Antha Blackwell, whose pronouns are also she, her. Antha is our spider.
Excellent. And finally, our resident David, as well as touched by the outsider player, if you would mind introducing yourself.
Yeah, hey folks, David here, he, him. I'm a graphic designer, an illustrator, and a game designer. If you want to check out my game stuff, you can go on over to dbb-8.itch.io. I am playing Maxwell Shamwick, aka Wick, the group Slide, who has just had a fun little chat with the outsider. So we're going to see what comes of that.
I am so excited to get back to these crazy characters, but before we do that, let me go ahead and turn on some music. And guys, let us know if anything is audible or inaudible, or if it's just right. That's also cool. And I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of the kind of what's happened so far on this series. So, in the first episode, we were introduced to the Back Alley Charmers, a crew operating out of Dunwall, composed of a variety of misfits and outcasts, our present cast, kind of speaking very specifically. We discovered that they are specializing in a certain degree of black market goods, specifically counterfeit elixirs for people to stave off the rat plague that is currently making its way through Dunwall, and in which people are starting to get sicker and sicker, and things are beginning to get more and more desperate. All of you had heard through the kind of rumor and by word of mouth, courtesy of the butcher, George, who Grissell had previously ensorcelled, that there was a cache that had fallen to the bottom of Wrenhaven River, courtesy of the wreck of a very large whaling vessel called the Traitor Leviathan. So when it then became known to you that not only had the cache been of whalebone and whale oil been salvaged from the river, it had found its way into the hands of one Lizzie Stride, a very notorious underworld figure within Dunwall. And you guys managed to cozy up to Lizzie and make overtures towards trade and towards an agreement with her, and all things seem to be going well until the hated rivals, the Bottle Street Boys, interrupted your little powwow, trying to basically blow a hole in the hull of Lizzie's ship, the Undine, in order to take it for themselves, this cache. So that said, you guys were able to prevent this, the seizing of your very earnestly bargained for property. You made nice with Lizzie Stride and helped her dispose of some unwanted Bottle Street Gang trash. And not only that, one fantastic lofting through the air Hail Mary hook later, you guys managed to secure the rest of the cash. But your actions did not come without some consequences. Namely, a certain black-eyed visage graced Maxwell Shamwick's sleep one night. And Maxwell, you have piqued the interest of the outsider, and the outsider has given you his mark.
I honestly can't imagine why.
And maybe we'll find out as we play today. So with our recap done, let us pick up where we left off. So namely, what we do know is that you guys, after having a great deal of activity the previous day, it was a very long day, happening in the dark of night. So of course, all of you took your rest and you slept in. But now you guys are coming off of a successful score. You guys have successfully bargained with the dead eels and made nice. And we are going to not only deal with the kind of the aftermath of that, but most importantly, we are going to do some downtime. So let us quickly consult the in the dark sheets that courtesy of David as to what you guys are able to do in downtime. So,
stuff.
Just stuff. Well, first off, when you are all resting in a safe place in your quarters, in this case, like your base of operations or a friendly bar, you can take each of the following actions once. You can recuperate, reducing all harm done by 1 level for free. Or you can ask a crewmate to operate on your wounds with a fortune roll to try reducing 1 harm another level. You may also repair your base of operations. You may also relax to clear all of your stress. So say what you do to blow off stress and make a fortune roll to see if it gets you into trouble. And then finally, you can refresh your equipment by clearing all marked gear and armor and basically kind of restoring them to full operational capacity. That said, I've also added, for the flavor of Dunwall, a couple of other things that you can do. One of which is you can spend coin from your crew holdings 1-to-1 to train and receive 1 either crew experience or character experience to further along your own operations and kind of like your own advancement as a member of this crew. You may also begin a long-term project, the level of which and the number of kind of ticks that you will need to do across the clock determined by what you are wanting to do and accomplish with this long-term project. And you can also acquire an asset, once again, spending coin equal to the level of the asset 1-to-1. So let us go ahead. I think that, Wick, you're having a restless night, so we're going to start kind of going around the rest of the crew. And let's start with the first person in our introduction, Caitlin. Specifically, Ripper. What do you do for your next day? Kind of describe the start of this next day and this downtime for you.
Well, I did come home with a body. And this body was... I'm interested in the effects of the river crust poison that I persuaded him to ingest. Persuaded. So I'm going to say that this is not a long-term project. This is more of a passing curiosity. So this is more of a restful activity for her.
Mm-hmm.
But Dr. Harlow is going to spend her day very methodically dissecting the digestive tract of this body.
Ooh, okay. To what end are you doing this? Is this just
curiosity.
to relax?
Just, yeah, it's there. I'm interested in what happened. It seems like the appropriate thing to do. The body won't keep that long. But I'm not trying to, this isn't like I have no intention of writing a monograph on the effects of river crust poison on the digestive tract of a human being. So
You just want to see what's in there.
It's just meditative surgery.
Yeah, like I might make a couple notes, but mostly it's just going to be in my head. It's just for fun.
Okay, so in that case, what I would like you to do is I would like you to add your dice for either operate or tinker, and I'd like you to make a fortune roll. And tell me what you got.
A 6 and a 2.
All right. So,
On
okay.
tinker.
So first thing is first, is there anything in particular that you're looking for in this surgery?
I think just the nature of the damage.
So I think that while the damage is fairly obvious, I think in terms of kind of the effects of river crust, we're going to kind of skip over that description.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the thing that I think that is interesting to you is you begin kind of working. I think that what you do is, I think at some point you're very kind of curious, and your curiosity gets the better of you, and you mix some of your river crust poison in the body with a little bit of your counterfeit elixir, and it has a very interesting effect. Now, with this success, I am going to say it produces an interesting effect in kind of a short amount. Nothing that you can really quite salvage, but something that you do discover. What effect does this mixing, this chemistry have?
Well, I think it would be something related to resistance to similar corrosive substances.
Mm-hmm.
So while elixir gives you a level of protection against an infectious agent, if you had an elixir that also used some certain alchemical titration of river crust ooze, it may also toughen your skin in some way.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, I think that is exactly what you do, is as you kind of work the elixir into this river crust kind of exposed tissue, you see it calcify and harden. And you realize that, I think you begin prodding with it, and you realize that there is a resistance to your scalpel or cutting instrument as you begin kind of trying to work on the combined tissue. So what I'm going to say is I'd like you to start a clock.
Okay.
This clock is going to be developed shale skin formula. So go ahead and tick it 3 times. I'm going to say it's a 8 clock. So if you would like to kind of develop this further, you can probably start looking for more raw materials. But you have the knowledge that perhaps whatever you are developing may offer some measure of protection if used as an ointment.
I'll probably have to figure out if it's safe to ingest versus topical application.
Exactly. And I think that is going to make the kind of like the majority of your research.
Okay.
We could probably get you some test subjects.
In addition, I'd like you to clear all of your stress as you are kind of working in the zone, as it were, on your chemistry.
Yeah, so I also have a question about how we handle, since I did not pick a recharge gear option.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I am probably out of river crust ooze at the moment. That makes sense. But for something like surgical supplies that I didn't use last time, what happens with those?
I would say that you get to keep anything that you didn't use. You can, I think, clear, and remind me, David, is it that they could choose one of these options or they could choose all of them?
So you can do every option once For the gear, you're just clearing the mark that you have on it. It stays on your list, and then the next time we're in a score, you can mark it off to say, I have it. You're just restricted by that load limit.
Okay.
So
should
like
I-
if you have Rivercrest Ooze, you have that, and you can always say, like, I have it.
Oh, okay.
You just have to mark off that you're carrying it during the score specifically. And
Okay.
if you run out of slots for your load limit, then you can't mark it off that you have it, because you've decided to in the fiction bring along a bunch of other stuff instead.
Right. So I can go ahead and clear my marks from the last time.
Yep, clear your marks, leave it on the list, and just mark it off whenever you want to use it in the future.
Absolutely.
Great.
And as we kind of explained earlier, you may also spend coin in order to undertake those extra projects. But while we kind of determine what you're doing there, we are going to move to the next character on our list. Grissell, describe your morning for us, or the day after, as you kind of come down from the roof after sleeping under the auspices of a full moon.
Grissell is feeling fairly well rested, and needs to embark on a bit of a long-term project, something that she's been putting off, but that was more because she lacked the necessary materials that she is about to get a hold of. So she is setting up a new ritual to make some new effigies that she intends to place over and around Dunwall proper. They're going to be her little eyes and ears, so she can gather some information on what's going on in the city. They're going to be in the shape of little rat skeletons.
Okay.
Yes, she's very proficient in the art of creating bone effigies. It's mostly what she does. Less talented in other areas of witchcraft, but this one she is definitely proficient in. So she can use like rat viscera, bones. She might come over to Harlow at some point, and either surreptitiously, you just see like a hand kind of reach out from below the table as she like grabs like a couple of bottles of discarded blood, and then just sort of comes back down and skitters away. Whether or not you saw that, I don't know. She's going to use some of the human blood to create some corrupted runes, so anyone who disturbs it is going to be in for a bit of a nasty surprise.
Okay. So it sounds to me like what you're trying to do is use a tune to accomplish something similar to what Doc Harlow was. So go ahead and make me a fortune roll using a tune as your base stat.
2 6s.
That's a critical.
Starting off hot.
Okay. Oh, right. So here's the thing: is I think with a critical success, I think you know how to make effigies. You have been working towards this. I don't know if we can even call this like a long-term project. I think that you've already kind of had your success with your Gravehound ritual before, and this is kind of in the same vein. So I think that you just do it. I think that you've kind of come up with these rat skeletons, and as you are kind of like working your craft into them, there is something that you hear kind of tickling at the back of your mind. There is kind of a feeling of whispering at the back of your head as you begin working your craft into the effigies. And one thing that I would like to actually do, and we're going to revisit Ripper for this as well. I want you to, this work is going so exceedingly well. I would like you to describe for me what this work makes you think of. I think that in particular, kind of like flash us back, tell us a little bit of Grissell's story as she works her craft, their craft into this.
I think it takes Grissell back to the real reason why she's back in Dunwall. That they haven't really been back in Dunwall in quite a while since she left for Brigmore. but she was asked to come back for a reason, and it was quite vague. All that she got was that she was needed to get eyes and ears on the city. No one really told her more than that, but she really didn't need any more than that. Right now, she's enjoying the chaos. As she's making the actual bone charms, like, it's reminding her of all of the darkest places in the city and the dampest places of the void. It's like she can feel it through her fingertips, like river muck underneath her nails, as she's carving into the bones of these skeletons and adding her will. But is it her will? She usually works as a conduit through somebody far more powerful than she is. And I feel like she can feel the rest of her coven, even though they're far away, as she is creating these magical little artifacts.
And that feeling of being a conduit is very kind of, I think, a powerful feeling of which you are accustomed. But as you work your craft and as you kind of focus your will, there's something strange. It's like you hear, I think that you are very familiar with the sound of your to whom you are a conduit, kind of working through you, Copper Spoon's voice echoing. But there is that echo behind it. And it seems a little bit almost like if you were a musician, it would be off one bit of rhythm, like one step. And as you consider that, we're going to move to Antha.
Would that have cleared my stress real quick?
Completely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
perfect.
I will also say one quick thing. Because you guys are working in bone charms and you have access to a great deal of material, you may also use your acquire an asset ability or downtime to craft a bone charm. You just have to basically kind of tell me what effect you intend to have and who will take it into their load.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Antha, talk us through the first steps of your downtime.
Well, so I think Antha is very much a creature of routine. I think she always starts her day just with a newspaper and a cup of just black coffee. But I think she's an early riser, and she finishes her coffee, and the last of the stars are just fading from the sky. She's up that early, and Antha also wants to start a long-term project.
Okay.
Because she knows that the Fugue Feast is coming up shortly, and it is a time of great cosmological significance, and it's a time when the cosmos is such that it's a very good time for visions. So I think what Antha is going to do is she's probably going to mention to whoever's up earliest with her that she would like to not be disturbed. And she's going to stay in her room and get out some journals, get out like a phonograph player in case she wants to dictate. She's going to smoke one of those special cigarettes that she has that's ever so slightly psychotropic.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to kneel, put on a blindfold. I think it's kind of a mathematical meditation. She might have some prayer reads or something that she's focusing on. And she's trying to just open her mind to the stars and the sky and just see, trying to focus on any dangers that might be coming their way. Because I think she's quite concerned about all of the heresy that this little group is getting themselves into. Even without knowing some of the heresy that they have stumbled on in the past night that she is not yet aware of.
Excellent. Okay. So do me a favor. Would you say that this is also an attune, or are you going to use a different skill?
I think this is a tune.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a tune, and I will tell you what you got.
All right. That's a 3.
Okay. So that is a failure, but it still counts. So I want you to go ahead and mark it as a kind of one tick on your clock. So I'm going to say for this, it's going to be an 8 o'clock. So the one thing I will do is, I will tell you is this. I will narrate a little bit of the vision that you receive. I just need to get the right music. Okay. So, I want you to describe for me what it looks like when Antha has a vision. Typically, what has it been like in the past?
So I think part of the reason this didn't go so well is that this is not how she typically has a vision, because this is something that she's not used to doing on her own. I feel like this is very much in contrast with Grissell, in that Antha is feeling very, very lonely and very kind of unsure as she goes into this, because she's usually when she's done this in the past, she's been accompanied by her sisters, and there's been this whole kind of ceremony and incense and all these things that she doesn't have. So usually is that she'll sit there and she'll just kind of see flashes of images that might not really cohere or make sense. And sometimes she's able to write it down. Sometimes she might narrate what she's seeing, but it's usually just these kind of unformed flashes, tableaus, kind of like what you would see in the Void in Dishonored 1, if I dare say.
Okay. As your consciousness slips into the Void, you are seeing a panoply of images. Frozen. You see one by one these scenes involving members of your crew. You are not unused to seeing such things. Oftentimes it's in the middle of when you see Ripper, it's in the middle of work, gruesome, or in the middle of a eureka moment, a discovery. For Grissell, you kind of see oftentimes her channeling their will into the Gravehound's skull. And Wick often it doesn't seem to you of any consequence when you see Wick. It's usually in the middle of, I think, probably some antagonizing action with a foe, or moving quickly and unseen. All of these people you've seen in frozen motion before. But when you see Wick this time, Wick is lying down in the middle of an alley, a street. And you almost think that maybe there is a dagger sticking out of his chest until your vision clears. And instead you see a large rat looking directly into his eyes, as if trying to communicate something. And as your eyes alight on this scene, you hear a rasping, deadly voice. Whoever this voice belongs to, it's one that's been steeped in blood for decades. Black-eyed bastard. And you feel the slice of a blade across your throat, and you wake up.
Okay,
so first off, normally I would say clear all your stress with a little bit of reservation, I guess, maybe.
Maybe? Yeah.
And could you describe for us the first time that Antha had a vision?
First time that Antha had a vision, it actually wasn't that long ago. And she felt incredibly proud. It was like I said, that it was in a very formal setting, and she tried for many times to be a part of the visions that the Oracular Sisters had seen, and this is the first time she'd actually succeeded. And I think it was a very small thing. I think it was like a prediction of a good harvest or something, but it made her feel weirdly vindicated. It's very much not what she feels now.
Excellent. Okay. As we kind of move back, I think Antha, the person that is most likely to kind of intercede in your middle of your morning routine is probably Ripper. And Ripper, I would actually like you to follow suit and give us a little bit of a scene from your life. What do you think it is that is on your mind as you've made this discovery about the shale skin formula?
I'm thinking about reflecting back on one of the first surgeries, exploratory dissections that I ever got to observe on with my former friend at the academy, Dr. Niall Kilroy, back in better times where I was his main supplier of some trickier to get items that he was doing research on. In exchange, aside from a decent paycheck, I also got to hang around, have some whiskey, and watch him work, which is how I discovered my love for the anatomical arts.
Excellent. Yeah, and I think kind of coming fresh off of all of your memories, that is when we kind of once again kind of travel the camera winding through the quarters of Back Alley Charmers, alighting on the restless, tossing, turning form of Max Shamwick. Wick, I think you stir from your encounter.
Yeah.
What does the rest of this day look like for you?
Grim. We see Wick, I think is sort of slumped out of the bed in his quarters, like an arm dangling on the floor, his head sort of like mushed into the pillow, and there's this shaft of light from the window falling across his face. He opens one eye, very annoyed. It is, I mean, it's not that early anymore for sure. But we see light illuminating one grumpy ice blue eye, and this young man with the swept back and now I think rather disheveled dark hair sort of groans and rolls out of bed, looks affronted at the daylight outside, and begins pulling some miscellaneous clothing off the back of a chair and putting it on.
As
yeah,
go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you. What you got?
Oh, I was just going to describe that we see that this is very fine clothing, but it has just been carelessly thrown over the back of a chair, and probably is not freshly washed either.
As you are putting on your clothing and you're dressing yourself, I think your eyes instinctively flash to a mirror, kind of like hastily hung.
I'm imagining there's like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a gilded frame mirror that has been just propped against the side of this kind of dingy room, and it was like, this is sort of the running theme with Wick here. It was clearly once a very expensive piece, and now it has like a crack all through it, and the gilding is all tarnished, and it was clearly just like, grabbed out of like rooms that some rich person abandoned when fleeing the city.
Absolutely. Waste not, want not. As you are putting on your clothing, that is, of course, when you see reflected back at you in the back of your hand, the mark of the outsider.
This son of a bitch. It's really there. All right.
And
Fine.
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Wick flips open a trunk and starts digging through and comes out with a pair of fine leather gloves, which he sort of wriggles his hands into, sort of flexes them, looks at them in the mirror.
Be careful.
He's standing there in his shirt sleeves, with his cravat undone, with leather gloves on, and he feels so goddamn stupid.
Be careful. He could still see us.
Who's there?
Quietly now. Quickly. Away. Wait until the light is gone.
I don't know who you are, but you're very loud. You're doing a terrible job of hiding. Come out now. And I go for like my sheath with a knife in it, and grab it, and I'm starting to look around.
Describe for me the furnishings of your room.
It is. I mean, Wick would love to think that it was shabby chic, but we're not there yet. It is a small, somewhat bare room. We have one window with some shutters in reasonable repair on one side. There is an iron, what's the word that I'm looking for? The metal frame bed, somewhat tarnished. We have that mirror, and there are a couple of miscellaneous trunks sort of scattered around. There's probably like a nightstand with a wash basin by the bed. Maybe there's the chair that the clothes were thrown over. Maybe a chest of drawers, and all of these things are things that look like they were scavenged from scavenged from someone who was wealthy at some point and decided that this crap was not worth bringing with them when they left. And it's sort of it's ornate but run down.
That voice is coming from behind one of the trunks.
Just come out. I won't hurt you much. And I slowly approach the trunk, and then I sort of leap around the side of it. I'm imagining one of those slightly tall hinged trunks where you have some drawers in it, and I leap around the side of it, knife drawn.
Chewed through this trunk is a hole, and 3 rats look up at you, and one of which has white fur and red eyes. All of them seem to be very small native rats, at which point you hear as clear as a bell in your mind a voice that seems to come, you can figure somehow directly from the white rat saying, "Scatter!" And they all run and scamper away from you.
Rats! Always rats. Did they? No, that doesn't sound like something that would happen. That sounds completely fake.
And
get it together, Wick. Get it together.
And as if to punctuate the thought in your head, the walls begin rattling as you hear the klaxon of the loudspeaker.
Attention!
By order of Empress Jessamine Caldwin and the City Watch, Dunwall citizens are hereby instructed to maintain a safe distance from infested dwellings. Citizens should also report any sightings of rodent swarms or those suffering from advanced stages of the plague to City Watch authorities. The latter is marked by bleeding from the eyes and erratic violent behavior. If you spot one of these weepers, run, don't walk, to your nearest City Watch guard station.
Yes, thank you!
And now you may continue with the rest of your day.
Antha! And Wick sort of just casually tosses the knife onto the bed and marches out of his quarters down the hall to Antha's chambers and begins without any sort of politesse, just slamming on just knocking on the door. Antha, are you in there?
It takes her a minute to respond, and when she comes out, she looks more than a little frazzled. She might. What time of day is it? How long did Wick sleep?
How late of a riser are you?
I mean, I don't think it's nuts, but considering that everybody else got up very early, you know, we're probably at it's before noon, but we're at sometime between 10 and noon, I'd say.
So Antha is definitely still coming down from whatever she smoked. Her eyes are a little overdilated. And she just gives Wick this look about, what have I told you about noise in the morning?
Yes, hello, good morning, how are you? Do you have any of that terrible coffee you make?
And she ushers him inside. Because yes, she does. So
pour me a cup, would you?
All right, so Antha's pouring him a cup of coffee, and she's definitely still a little, she seems a little woozy, but she's mostly got it together.
Wick is too self-absorbed to notice this.
Fair. And she gives him this kind of look, and just goes, well, so I see one of us slept well.
Yes, thank you for noticing. I had a rather restless night.
Restless night? Restless dreams? Neither of those are good.
Antha, let me ask you a question. I think you're probably the best person to inquire about this. What does the Abbey have to say about dreams of the void?
The void works through dreams.
Right.
What did you dream, Wick?
I had a dream about
rats?
No, why do you say rats?
I had a vision.
Of
what
rats.
Did you dream? What did you dream, Wick?
I had some ridiculous dream about the outsider, okay?
Wick, is there a reason you're wearing gloves this morning? Or is this some new fashion choice that you're at least a season behind on, despite the fact that I've never heard of it?
Well, I certainly wouldn't expect you to be keeping up with what's going on in the world of high fashion, Antha.
I have my contacts. Answer the question.
My hands are cold. It's a chilly morning.
Because if you did dream of the void, and if the void reached back offered you a hand. Well, I'd say that I would have advice, but I feel like the advice would all boil down to you're fucked. So, have fun with that.
Helpful as always, much appreciated. Thank you, Antha.
If you told me what your dream was, I might be able to tell you more.
I told you, I saw the outsider, okay?
Did he speak
what
to you?
More is there? Maybe.
You're going to have to be very careful, Wick.
Why's that?
Come now. We're not stupid. You're not stupid. You pretend that you're stupid. But I think you know exactly where you stand on this. And, well, as I said, I think you're fucked.
Right. Well, this has been incredibly helpful. Thank you, Antha. Really appreciate it. And thanks for the coffee. Good morning. And Wick just sort of drains the coffee cup, slams it grumpily on the table, turns around and marches out.
Wait.
Yes?
I had a vision of you lying in the street with a rat on your chest. Saying, I don't know exactly, it sounded like a threat. Now, I don't know what kind of mess you think you've gotten yourself into with the outsider, but you better keep your head down. Not do a repeat of whatever nonsense you were trying to pull with the Bottle Street boys last week and drawing attention. Because
Oh,
the outsider
come on
only
now,
appears to
Antha,
people
don't tell me
for-
you're afraid of the Bottle Street boys.
Oh, I'm not afraid of the Bottle Street boys. I'm afraid of something much bigger. The outsider only appears to people for reasons. And I can't think of anything that you might have done that would have attracted his attention, unless there's something you're not telling me, Wick. Anyway, you can go about the rest of your morning. I'm going to have some more coffee.
Great. Thanks.
Antha just kind of huffs and pours herself a second cup. This conversation is not over, but it might be over for now.
As you end the conversation, there is something that comes to mind, which is one of the 7 strictures. Restrict the restless hands, which quickly become the workmates of the outsider. Wick, how do you respond to all of this?
Grumpily. Wick thought he was going to have a fun time insulting his friend and talking about his dreams. And instead, he got his entire business handed to him.
This is not something to joke about. Antha is not sorry.
Yeah, totally. So Wick is just stalking out of the quarters back down into the sort of main shop front to begin his day.
Okay. We will rejoin you shortly, but Grissell and Ripper, where are you guys while all of this is going on?
Oh, I feel like Grissell is probably coming out of the workshop holding an armful of all of those little rat effigies that she was making early this morning. She's got like one in like a whole bunch in like one hand, and she's like putting them in a bunch of her little satchels that line her.
Wick definitely runs into you while you're doing this. Rats. It's rats this morning. It's just rats. It's all rats all the time. Why is it rats with everyone? What are those?
Grissell puts the she's about to answer, and then she just
you know what? Don't tell me.
No, she
Whatever
gets like right
is,
up in your
it's
business.
disgusting for me to know.
Nope, she like beelines like bypassing personal boundaries and is just like right up against you, Wick. Just like, why do you smell like old Riverstone?
Well, I haven't bathed yet this morning, and that's a lovely way of describing it. Thank you.
No, 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 no. That's not how you usually smell. She's just like circling you, like ruffling your hair. Just absolutely no sense of personal space.
Listen, Grissell, I was under the impression that we'd come to something of an understanding about whether or not you were interested in me. And it was a definitive no. If you've changed your mind, I'm happy to take up the subject again, but otherwise... And Wick just sort of like, I think puts as you like come around again, like puts a couple of fingers against your forehead and just sort of pushes you back to like, 2 foot length away.
And as you make contact with her, I think, Wick, you get a snatch of something, like a set of eyes looking imperiously at you, but you also hear little whispers from the effigies bundled in her arms. Actually...
Yeah. And Grissell, like, you immediate, like, I think Wick would try to hide it, but the flinch away from your forehead is, like, very abrupt.
It's like you were bathing in the deepest, darkest waters of the river.
Now, the way you say that, it's creepy. Certainly very creepy, but I also get the feeling that you're into that.
I'm curious. Something happened to you. Something nasty.
Grissell, the last thing that I want in the world right now is for you to be curious about me.
You don't have to tell me, but something's
Oh, good, because
different.
I'm not going to. Thanks.
Something's different. You've touched something old and you don't understand what it is.
Thank you. Another great piece of advice this morning for me. And Wick just continues past you down into the shop.
Yeah, she sets up one of the effigies in the back corner, and I think then she might actually very briefly leave to put a couple more around the block before coming back in.
Excellent. Okay, so I will, I was going to say, I think that, like I said, with that critical, you just do it. But we will maybe roll a complication of all of this later. But Ripper, would you say that you make contact with Wick over the course of the day, or do you kind of typically, are you guys like ships passing in the night?
Sure. At some point, I think once Grissell is back, Doc Harlow does come out of her makeshift operating theater, just soaked in gore up to the elbows, gets out a cigarette, lights a cigarette inside the shop, and asks Grissell, did you need anything else? I'm going to have to take the body out soon. I've got all I need from it, but if you need anything else.
Can I have his eyes?
Yeah, they're entire. I haven't done
Rivercrest
anything with
stuff in
those.
it.
Yeah, you can absolutely have the eyes. That's
Thank
actually,
you.
I'm not sure I've ever actually excised the optic nerve before. That's a good
Can I watch you do it?
practice. Yeah, absolutely. Come on.
Wick is on the other side of the room.
She pours whiskey for both of them.
I'm
What is it,
glad
like
I haven't eaten breakfast.
11 a.m.?
Yeah, she does not care.
Brazil doesn't either.
Love it.
Absolutely wants to watch this happen.
So
She has like a little bottle up.
If Wick's around, she will invite Wick to also observe. It's going to be science.
It's going to be...
It's very enriching to the mind.
I love that you think it's going to be science, whereas Grissell is just like, I'm going to use
Yes.
I'm going to make a spell out of it.
And Wick's mind does need enriching. So, would you like to come?
I'm allergic to enrichment, sorry.
She does notice the gloves and asks, new fashion statement, or are you contemplating some light burglary this afternoon?
Yes!
Which
To
one?
all of the above.
We need more glassware. So if you could pick some up wherever you're going.
I'll put it on my list.
Sealable bottles in particular, because obviously we're about to start selling a lot more elixir. So
yes, I'm writing it down.
and if we
you
can get those
see,
without paying wholesale prices, I would appreciate it.
You can see that Wick is like has taken a pen and is scribbling on his hand, and it's just
On
like
his glove?
Yeah, on the glove, and it's just like a series of loops.
Love it.
Harlow just stares at him a moment.
And these
Still
are
covered
definitely
in
like
blood. Just
these are definitely like black gloves, and he's writing with a pen in black ink.
Yeah. She just looks at him and she's covered in blood, wearing a bloody apron too. She's like, glassware.
Glassware.
Thank you.
He's cranky because he went swimming too deep last night.
You should know better than that. And also, if you're going out to the riverbanks, please, river crust samples. I've told you before. I've told all of you.
So, excellent. I think that is the point at which I think we can say that we've done most of our downtime. I think there's more things that you guys can opt to do if you like, for spending one-to-one for trading or long-term assets or acquiring assets. But before we kind of get back to that, let's go ahead and kind of go over, let's know the score. So, as soon as I find the right tab for it, guys. So you guys are now faced with a choice. Not only have you recovered the payload of the Traitor Leviathan, but you have made a very fortuitous deal with the dead eels that, while fortuitous, is also somewhat binding. In that when Lizzie needs elixir, that is it is you who is going to be the one to provide it come hell or high water. And in Lizzie's case, she's very used to high water. She's going to give you hell. So the question then becomes, do you guys want to peddle the cash still to Bundry Rothwild? Okay. So you know that there was a lot of, like, you stood to gain by giving the cash to Bundry Rothwild. He has a lot of things that he can kind of provide you in terms of carving through whalebone. There's a lot of options here. So my question, though, is if you are not going to give it to Bundry, then what are you going to do? Are you going to find another buyer? Are you going to keep the cash? What's the take for the back alley charmers?
I mean, we have to sell it to someone because Lizzie is expecting I mean, I think most of the proceeds from this sale, like, we get a small cut, and Lizzie is expecting some coin. So we got to sell it to somebody.
Okay.
If we don't want to sell it to Rothwild, who do we want to sell it to?
Well, that depends, because am I making some of these into actual charms? Because those cannot be sold back to Rothwild for sure. We could definitely sell the raw materials.
I mean, we could have negotiated that our cut is part of the cargo.
That also works.
Okay.
And then we just transfer whatever cash we get from the sale of the rest of it wholesale back to Lizzie.
Okay. Well, in that case, then I'm going to offer a little bit of a modification here then. So first off, we're going to do a little bit of what the aftermath of this first score was. So one, you guys are going to have -1 faction with the Bottle Street Boys, obviously.
No way.
So the thing about this is, normally if you guys had managed to keep that on the down low, it would have been no faction decrease. But the fact of the matter is like, there were a lot of dead eels in various states of sobriety that night, and however whatever they say about loose lips sinking ships, all of them were off the boat when they started talking about how cool it was that you helped them kill the Bottle Street Boys. So you are going to take a cut. So in this case, you're going to take, I'm going to say 2 coin. You're going to have -1 with the Bottle Street Boys. You're also going to have -1 faction with the Butchers. Just because I think, well, that's the question, is would you guys incur a negative penalty? Because I don't think you guys went to Bundry. You went to George, and George is a simple creature.
Well, we know Bundry wants it. Why don't we want to sell it to him?
Yeah,
Because
that's
Lizzie would be mad at us.
Well, that was before, because like we had the opportunity to be working on behalf of Bundry to basically take the materials back from
fair.
Lizzie, but now we're operating on sort of we're the middlemen.
Yeah, I guess do we know if Lizzie just hates him so much that she would take that negatively if we were to also have a business relationship with him, or do we not know that?
I don't know. Do the Deadiels care about what goes on in the butcheries?
Yeah.
I mean, does either party have to know that the other one is involved?
Exactly. All we have to say is that we moved the items and here's the cut.
So I'm going to tell you what. I am going to roll a fortune roll. If I roll a success, then Bundry hears about it. If I roll a crit, Bundry's angry about it.
Oh,
and
shit.
If I roll anything else, you guys are fine. Okay. So I did not succeed. So you guys, again, there is no kind of rumor or hearsay that links you to the sale or the movement of the cash. So you are in the clear. You don't suffer a negative faction with the butchers, but you do take +1 with the dead eels. So +1 for the dead eels, -1 for the Battle Street Gang. I will say that you are at -2 with your rival, and if you get to -3, somebody goes to war. With that being the case, let's also take a look at the other benefit you're going to get. So you have 2 coins, and you're going to have a trove of whalebone that you can put towards long-term projects or acquiring own charm assets, let's say. So bear that in mind as we kind of go into your next score, which we're going to talk about. But before we do that, actually, there is the question of chaos. So chaos is a little bit of a modification for this rule set, just because we are in the world of Dunwall and in Dishonored, and chaos has consequences. So I've kind of come up with a few questions here. And depending on how you answer, it determines how much overall chaos there is in Dunwall. Did anyone lose their life as a result of our actions? If yes, mark 1.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So someone lost their face.
Their arm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just what was that? It was a Splatterpunk festival, so definitely gonna get 1. Were we detected by rivals or innocent bystanders? So I'm gonna say that's also a yes.
Yes, we did not ghost that one.
A bit.
So did any action you take worsen the rat plague, would you say?
I don't know.
Not yet. I don't
Not
think.
yet. Potentially it helps it if the dead eels, being all up on their elixir rations prevents any additional spread. Possibly we're helping.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sure. Look at it that way.
That sounds fair.
Did we make the rat plague worse or better?
This is a false choice. Don't trust it.
Certainly cooler.
And then finally,
That's what really matters.
Finally, did we take the most straightforward or obvious approach to our score? If yes, mark 1.
I think so.
I think we did.
I'm kind of
Yeah.
okay. That one feels complicated to me because we clearly did not take, I think, the approach that would be intended of like theft, but we did conduct a very straightforward
Yeah, we were
negotiation.
very honest
Well,
with
you-
Lizzie.
Well, would you say
We just
that,
made a business deal.
yeah, it is a straightforward business deal. I will say though that I guess, like, is it whether or not this was a blunt force approach, I guess is my thing, is do we like, if we don't feel that way, we don't have to mark it.
I thought I was super smooth. That whole interaction went exactly the way I hoped it would.
I mean,
I wouldn't
we
call it
were-
a blunt force approach. Blunt force would be like we
Blowing up the
Smash
ship.
and
Like,
grab.
hey, if we had blown a hole in the side of the ship, like a certain other gang did.
Well, and we were
Then yes,
very
but we didn't do that.
smooth until a certain other gang blew a hole
Yeah,
in
we
the
were
ship.
just
And until
reacting.
that happened,
And
Lizzie
then
was
we were
gonna
awesome.
smooth it over and make it all cool. But
I mean, you did do a large heresy on the boat.
I did a puppy amount.
A medium heresy. I said only small heresies, though.
A smooth heresy.
This is a very smooth heresy.
Goes down real smooth, guys. Okay, in that case, we're going to mark 2 for your overall chaos level. Every 5 chaos that you accrue over the course of this series, you will hit a threshold. And what that means will vary. So the thing that I'm going to next ask you is we're going to start a new score. And this one is called Moving Your Product. Let me go ahead and narrate this. You have earned a bit of notoriety following the events on the Undine, and word of mouth is spreading courtesy of the dead eels. Who most needs your product? Elixirs, bone charms, etc. How do they pay? How desperate are they to get access to what you have? Where do you go to hawk your wares? So I have for me, for kind of like placeholders, we have 3 choices. The Estate District, the richest part of Dunwall, where there are many opportunities for crews aspiring towards accruing more influence and resources, but aristocrats with scruples might not purchase elixir from just anyone. The Abbey of the Everyman, to ensure the effectiveness of the Abbey's overseers, that is Campbell, has started seeking out alternative supplies of elixir and whale oil. That said, Holger Square presents a logistical minefield to heretics and enterprising crews alike. What punishment will the overseers visit upon those they deem apostates? And finally, there's the Golden Cat. To better serve a discerning clientele and ensure the health and safety of its workers, the Golden Cat purchases additional elixir stock from the black market. With prices on the rise and the City Watch making liberal use of their resources, will Madame Prudence turn to outsiders to shore up their supply? Now, the final kind of written option is whoever you guys want to try to sell to is also viable. But I've written these 3 options out as an opportunity presented to you immediately. Is there anything that you guys feel strongly about for your upcoming score?
So Dot definitely goes to the Golden Cat. But so she probably has, Prudence has actually probably talked directly to her about this. But because of the new demand from the dead eels for elixir, Harlow is a little bit hesitant to, and the lack of obvious selling options regarding all of the whale products that we have, which are the actual new product that we've obtained. She's feeling like maybe that's that's an avenue perhaps for later if the plague continues, but that is not her priority at the moment. She thinks it would stretch everyone too thin on the stuff that we don't need to move right now.
Cool. Does anybody else have any strong thoughts about these options?
Only that the Abbey of the Everyman does feel like a logistical minefield, is putting it very, very lightly.
Yeah, I'm not in for that one.
They would take one look at me and that would be it.
Yep. Perhaps that might be the case, unless.
But they do have the biggest demand for unprocessed whalebone and whale oil. Maybe not bone, but definitely the oil.
It would be nice. I mean, she could be persuaded because
we'd have to come up with a
heck of a cover
story.
Right. It's a logistical
We'd have to come up with a heck of a cover story because they will absolutely find out that we're selling bone charms on the side.
Right. It's just how else are we going to unload the whale oil?
And it would
at this point, I don't have many
really-
uses for it. I mean, yeah, it powers all of our nice equipment, but and like our lights and stuff. But whale oil's tricky. It has a limited market.
It'd be really
But I
nice
haven't
to get
thought
one
about
of my effigies in Holger Square and in the Overseer's office. No reason.
Yes, and I'd like to be emperor someday, but we can't always have what we want.
Would they pay though, or would they just say they're gonna pay and then
They might requisition it, yeah.
They might just
have to be
take it.
very careful with that. And also, probably what they would do, speaking from not direct experience, but probably they would agree to buy it on the condition that we produce documentation as to where we obtained it. And then they would either find a real discrepancy because we would have to forge the papers, or they would just invent a discrepancy without even bothering to notice that we forged the papers. So we'd have to play it very carefully. We probably want a very
This is a
specific
very
contact.
optimistic take. They could also just come and raid us in the night.
Yes, they can also do that. That is true.
And then kill me.
And
If
me.
you're lucky.
I think I could probably get out of it.
Would you, Wick?
too? Yeah, Wick and I would be fine.
Well, if we're not keen on that, then we can certainly move some of the product at least a little bit to the Golden Cat. They won't ask questions.
I
But
also
they don't
heard that
really
the
want
Golden
oil or-
Cat was installing some new equipment, some new devices for some of their more discerning clientele. A local
Oh,
art
do
dealer might have been
tell.
funding them. So they might have more of a use for whale oil than we might think.
Okay.
Wow, what a deep cut. Terrific.
I had to.
Okay, so it kind of sounds like you guys. I don't hear
We haven't
anybody.
talked about the estate district yet.
Yeah, you haven't
We need
talked
to
about
cover
the
the
estate
estate
district.
Yeah, Wick and Antha, what kind of contacts do you currently have and how hungry are they?
Most of my contacts are in the servant network, and they might be hungry for bone charms and elixir. I don't see them helping us with the market for the oil.
Would they tell you if their employers
But they-
were?
Exactly. I could certainly put out some feelers and see if I hear anything back. What do you
Well.
think, Wick?
I know people. That's one of the reasons I'm here in the first place.
Good point,
So-
Wick. You didn't bring me that glassware, did you?
It's been 30 minutes.
Yeah, what have you been doing with your morning?
We've all been very productive.
Grumbling mostly.
I've
We have a
made
business to
30
run
rat
here.
charms. You've done nothing. You've contributed nothing.
You just hear the porcelain cracking behind their voice.
I want to acknowledge that I got this entire building for us, and that should count for several things indefinitely. I should get extra.
Very quietly, you can just hear Antha muttering the third stricture under her breath. Very, very quietly.
Grissell hisses a little bit.
All right, I can see everyone's very grateful for all that I did for you. Thank you. You're welcome.
So
Going forward,
it does.
what are you going to do next for us?
Well, I know people. If we don't want to move all of this stuff that we have burning a hole in our back rooms to Bundry Rothwild, I'm certain I can find some enterprising business person or another who would want to take it on and pay pretty coin for it as well. Of course,
There it is.
there is also the possibility that those same people might be a little more amenable to under-the-table business at an establishment like the Golden Cat.
So we reach your contacts through selling through the Golden Cat.
Well, it's certainly more tasteful than approaching someone on the street of the estate district in broad daylight.
You're not supposed to do that. Oh.
Madame is rather territorial about business. You know, a business deal is one thing, actually selling in her own establishment, something that could get her in trouble with the
Well,
watch or
we'll
the Abbey
talk
could
to
be
her
a hard sell.
first.
So, what if we meet your contacts at the Golden Cat, have a nice time, come up with a rough plan of what we're doing, and then handle the actual sale elsewhere. You know, so we have networking time, and then we have business.
You just want to go to the Golden Cat, don't you?
Everyone wants to go to the Golden Cat. We all want to
I
go
just
to the
don't want
Golden
to do.
Cat.
I don't want to move product at the Golden Cat. I would be fine making connections who will buy it there, but I don't want to do the actual deal there because I think we are going to get our asses handed to the City Watch.
It's a fair point.
They do spend a lot of time there.
They spend a lot of time there. Yes.
Now,
All sorts
remind
of
me
people visit
again.
the cat. Who knows who we might make a deal with there?
Remind me again exactly why we aren't selling this to Brunell-Brutman, the person who we know wants all of it and will certainly pay for it?
Yeah, I mean, if we
Do we
haven't
just
been
not
directly
like
warned
him?
off of it,
Does he have a bad face?
if we haven't been directly
think
warned
I've
off
ever
of it
seen
by
his
Lizzie's
face.
people, I would be in favor of that. That's the only thing I would be worried about, just from having read our score document and the risk of a decrease of the dead eels. That's the only thing that would stop Ripper from thinking that's a straightforward idea.
Well, we don't have to tell Lizzie what we do with the product. All we have to do is get her coin back to her in the first place.
Couldn't we just sell the whale oil to him and then the rest to whatever other contacts? I don't know if he really wants the bones.
He has a lot of them already.
And I need them.
He also doesn't have to know how much of the product we have. Maybe we only recovered the whale oil. Maybe all the bones are at the bottom of the river. We don't have to sell it all in
Maybe
bulk
we
to one person.
Did.
And then we can turn an extra profit with the bone charms and the runes that I can make.
So
See, this is what I like. Now everyone is thinking coin forward.
So what it sounds like to me is that you guys are going to sell at least part of the cash to Bundry Rothwild. And then you are going to then kind of undertake the score at the Golden Cat. Is that roughly what I get?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Makes sense to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that gives us at least some guaranteed
Yeah.
cash.
Because I think the oil is the real issue.
Yeah, finding a safe contact who has enough demand for it to buy it and who won't turn us in or just requisition it is tricky. But Bundry I would think, is not going to bother trying to raid our little shop.
Yeah, because
he can just pay a reasonable price.
Excellent.
he sells the oil anyway, so he's going to want to take it off of us.
We just
I
don't try
think the
with them
oil
off.
is also important to get rid of because it's very heavy
Volatile.
and very hard to store. It
It is
very
volatile.
explosive.
So
Yes.
whoever
You smoke a lot around it.
whoever is going to go ahead and sell the whalebone oil, I would like you to make a fortune roll, and we will determine basically based on your successes how much you get for it. So which one of you is going to be either talking to George, through George, or directly with Bundry Rothwild?
Can we actually go through George? Like,
That
does
changes, yeah.
George actually have enough clout that he could talk to the boss?
Does George have enough
Sounds like a
brain
bad idea.
cells that he could talk to the boss?
I
I want Wick to go.
I
visit
fried
Bundry.
most of them.
I'm gonna roll 2 fortune dice for for George. Normally this would be disadvantage, but I'm feeling a little bit. 2 3s. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, I think that as you kind of bring this plan up to George one night, as you're kind of like coming up with this, it's just like, I was never very good at sums. And
Okay, well, you tried.
and Grissell, you just give him a quick pat on the head. So yeah, so it's up to you guys. Who's directly meeting with Bundry?
Antha could go.
Okay.
Sure.
I should go for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if Antha, you want to go, you can go ahead and do that for me. Go ahead and make a fortune roll. This is gonna be a persuade.
So I've got 2 dots in persuade, so 2 dice.
Yeah, 2 dice.
That's a 4 and a 6.
Okay. Woo! So with a 6,
Nice.
I'm gonna say that you get most of the coin that you would have gotten just selling everything. You're gonna get, through your force of persuasion, you managed to get 2 coin for the whalebone oil, whale oil, which is gonna leave you the cache of whale bones, unless I'm misunderstanding it.
No, you got it.
Yeah, but I will say this, as you are meeting with Bundry, there is a sense of unease that goes through the shop floor. And I think, Antha, you are kind of navigating through all these burly, broad-shouldered butchers, some of which have what look to be very complicated mechanisms ending in saws attached to their back. The smell of processing whale oil is pungent and strong and caustic to your nostrils. So you spend as little time as you can making your way over to not only to Bundry's office. I think George kindly kind of walking you through so that their first instinct is not to kind of mess with you or kind of wonder why the hell you're in their shop. But the thing that strikes you is that Bundry looks to be having an animated conversation with a blonde-haired woman in his office. She appears to leave fairly quickly as they kind of come to what seems to be a discrepancy, and there is a inscrutable look that crosses Bundry's face as she walks out of the office. I believe.
Now, you say a blonde-haired woman. Can you tell me more about, like, are we talking like nobility? Or are we talking like working class? What does Antha notice?
Definitely like working class, you would say. Somebody that seems to be not uncomfortable in the surroundings. It seems like maybe she works here. And almost as if on cue, George takes off his little skull cap and just says, "Bye, Miss Ames," and then puts it back on and says, "Right," and opens the door to Bundry's office, and then that meaty ham hook for a hand just basically knocks on Bundry's door. "Mr. Rothwild, with an associate for you." And Bundry, seemingly animated and concentrated in the face, relaxes. And you begin kind of discussing with him the terms of this whale oil cache. And you have some success, but as you're kind of like walking through this sale, you do end up securing the credits for this through this deal. But you do see that there seems to be a small note somewhere and on his desk. And before he can move a set of papers in front of it, as if like to drop down a copy of the local newspaper, you make out the word Delilah.
All right. I'm obviously not going to mention that, of course, but note that for later.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you complete the sale and you return with the proceeds to the rest of the crew. So, just because I think we want to get into the score, I didn't want to narrate too much of that scene. However, we're going to get into the score proper now. And what we need to do before we go on break is have ourselves an engagement roll. So let me go ahead and pull up my handy dandy Blades in the Dark stuff. And we are going to determine which approach that you guys want to take. So the most exciting thing is always when the GM is hastily grabbing the PDF from his files. Yeah, let me go ahead and pull up the core book. And we're going to go ahead and do our engagement roll. Okay. So, as we know from the Blades in the Dark rules, there are 6 approaches that you can take as you kind of begin your heist or your score, as it were. Assault, deception, stealth, occult, social, and transport. As you make your way to the Golden Cat, is there any particular approach that strikes you as being something that would be most conducive to your objective?
I feel like this is another social call.
Definitely not assault.
Yeah, it's social or transport.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to convince Prudence, right, to let us do some business under her roof.
So
yeah.
Or doing it under her nose without her noticing.
Right, I was going to say
That's
this could be a stealth. This could be like some of us do
stealthy social.
Yeah, like some of us do the talking and some of us kind of make sure that Prudence doesn't poke her nose in or do some sleuthing.
So I have a crazy idea for you. What if it's a deception and you are working through one of your contacts at the Golden Cat, basically posing as a client to distribute your goods?
Oh no. I'll go get my dress.
Yeah, what do you guys want to do? That is just a proposal. Is there anything else that really strikes you? Because if you'd like, you can use the Undine's or the Dead Eel's access to the canals to get transport going. If assuming you can kind of work things out socially with Madame Prudence, or she's amenable to you. Is there anything that I don't want to hem you guys into one particular approach?
Are we okay? So, are we pretending to be clients mixing with other clients, or are we pretending that we work there and we like
I assume
are doing some
Prudence
side
knows
deals?
who works for her.
Yeah, I don't
It's much
think
more
I don't
believable
think
if
the
we're
latter
clients.
would fly.
I mean, not for her benefit, for the for the benefit of the people who we're trying to sell to.
See, I was thinking clients to clients, but
Yeah.
with maybe some of Madame Prudence's workers posing as fences. Whatever that's just a proposal. Whatever you guys want.
I like
like
the
that.
former.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So does everybody feel good about deception then?
Let's try it.
Okay.
Sure.
So
What could go wrong?
So many things are about to go wrong.
The
Ripper's
detail
not great at lying, but it's okay.
The detail is the method of deception. I think we've kind of safely secured that, unless we've kind of figured something else out there. So let's go ahead and figure out your major advantages and disadvantages. Is this operation particularly bold or daring?
It's fairly daring, I would say.
They're members of the Watch there often, and Prudence might not be happy when she finds out.
Yeah, if we're explicitly trying to sell under somebody's roof while concealing it from them, that's kind of ballsy.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we are paying clients, I don't think she's going to love it.
Okay, so that's one. Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. Does the plan detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest?
No.
I don't know.
Okay. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have a particular defense or special preparation? I don't think so either.
No one is immune.
I feel
flattery.
like weird deals probably go on in the cat. I don't want to say all the time.
We're going to be in the steam rooms a lot, aren't we?
Probably.
Oh God.
Oh,
Well, we'll see. We'll see what time you guys decide to drop in. So can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? Yeah. Okay.
I actually think so. Yes.
Okay. So two.
I think yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No. Chime in however you like.
No, I was going to say I think I have my servant friend who can probably tell me like who might be there, what kind of day they might be having.
Also,
Probably once you identify who is there, who is likely to be there, I probably know most of those people personally and would be able to like at least, not necessarily on a friend basis, but I know who they are and would be able to gain some information about them once you figure out who is actually there.
and we can discuss this, but Ripper's positive contact, since he actually isn't available yet, we could always swap him out because I'm sure Ripper has a usual.
Excellent.
So if we don't think that the timescale is going to allow my planned positive contact to show up in this campaign, then I would be happy switching.
I'm actually happy to like move the timescale forward, but we'll kind of address that in just a moment.
Okay, we have other options here, so I think that'll work.
Okay. Are any enemies or rivals interfering in the operation? Take -1 die. So I
don't know.
I don't think she lets the Ball Street Boys in.
Yeah, she doesn't. I don't think so. I think you guys are okay. Cool. So we have 2 dice so far. And finally, are there any other elements that you want to consider? Maybe a lower tier target will give you +1 die. Maybe a higher tier target will give you -1. Maybe there's a situation in the district that makes the operation more or less tricky. I think that, you guys, we're in the middle of a plague, and I think that everybody's doing their best in these circumstances, and I don't think, I was going to say, I don't think it makes sense for me to take a die from you guys, so I'm going to go ahead and say, do you have any assets that you'd like to add, or anything that you think might provide you a little bit of an extra benefit?
One of our assets in the crew says that we have the good stuff.
Yeah, okay.
I wonder if that, our advertising that, or us already being known for having that, might help us get in the door.
I will say absolutely yes. So what I would like, I did the roll last time. I would like somebody to take 3 dice and make the engagement roll.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Go for it.
All right.
Do it.
That's a 3, a 4, and a 6.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we come back from break, you guys are going to be inside the receiving hall of the Golden Cat, face to face with Madame Prudence. So when last we left our crew here, they had decided on a deception approach for their next score, in which they are trying to move all of their counterfeit elixir and bone charms to the people of Dunwall, and they are going to attempt to do it through the Golden Cat.
Can I get a clarification from the group at large? What are we trying to move here exactly? Are we just setting ourselves up as hey, we're sliding in, we look at these fine leather jackets, here's everything that we have to sell, or are we specifically trying to move the rest of the whalebone cache, except for, what we've skimmed off the top for personal use?
I mean, ¿por qué no los dos?
Sure.
But
I think given from, this is me sort of riffing off of what you can do in canon when Corvo is at the Golden Cat, there's quite a lot of runes and bone charms that are around there.
Mm-hmm.
They buy that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming in hot with a case of my good stuff.
So are we actually then retaining the entirety of the whalebone part of the cache, and we're just going to convert it into bone charms over time,
and then more cash,
sell that over time, and then we have to kick some of that back to Lizzie?
Yep.
I love that. Yeah, totally.
Cool.
I mean,
I think that makes
raw
good
whalebone
economic sense.
A market for raw whalebone, I feel like is fairly limited. So I think our value add is going to really add, really drive our return on investment here, guys. Running a business.
So
this is so exciting. This is the real.
We got to
fantasy
open up a new market.
Escapism is that we're going to run a successful business and make money while we do it.
And during a pandemic, no less.
And during pandemic, oh God.
We're innovators. We're disrupting the marketplace.
The Kieran Jindoshes of bone charms over here.
Wow.
Or Piero John. Well,
compared to him.
What do we have? Who do we have that's an innovator and not creepy?
They all suck.
Wait, the fellow, the Stilton.
Aramis Stilton.
Stilton. You guys are going to be the Aramis Stilton of bone charms. I'm looking forward to it. Okay. So what we're going to do now is, because I forgot about this during the engagement roll, I am going to ask either Caitlin or Morgan to draw a card from the Dishonored Tarot deck. The only stipulation is that if you draw Samuel the Boatman, draw another card.
Do you have it handy, or you want me to go ahead?
I mean, I have it handy, but I did the engagement roll, so I think you're up.
Okay. Let me just shuffle a couple times, and we'll see what comes up.
And we are going to also play a little bit of music here.
While I'm shuffling, I want everyone to consider bone charms as a subscription model. How can we make that work?
This is smart.
Whalebones Unlimited.
Yeah. We lock
like
them
a
in,
Warby Parker model for whalebones?
Send you a box of 3 bone charms every month. Cancel it
Could we
anytime.
have a try before you buy a
Oh
bottle?
yeah, you can have a
or
little
like
sampler set of my small bone charms and maybe like one rune.
If I can mix text here, maybe the name of your startup is Ishmael.
Yeah, probably. All right, everyone ready?
Yep. Okay. Ooh.
Oh,
The witch.
Granny Rags.
Mm.
Excellent.
Feel
Excellent.
good about this.
All right. I love that.
I bet you do.
Okay. So we are opening in the hall of the kind of receiving room. You guys have made your way past the fine garden and patio, the two-story or two-level kind of terraces look out onto what must have been a much different Dunwall only last year. And so as you're kind of making your way through the scarlet draped and wallpapered rooms, receiving rooms of this place, you are struck by not only the finery of the portraits on display, which Ripper, you know, are of previous employees of the Golden Cat. You are just struck by how forward-thinking a lot of the ergonomics and the design and the furniture of this place is. Speaking personally as a user experience designer, this place is meant to create a very warm, welcoming, and yet enticing vibe. And as a natural philosopher, I think you probably have reservations as to whether or not that is a success. This is a successful approach. But regardless of your feelings on this matter, you are here for business, and Madame Prudence welcomes all of you, saying, "Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Golden Cat. What services may I provide you this fine evening? We have several of our most precocious workers available in the ivory room. We also have the baths. How may we put you at ease this fine evening?" Actually, point of order, is it evening or during the day when you go?
Split the difference and say it's late afternoon.
When do we
Happy hour.
think
Our happy hour specials at the Golden Cat.
Yeah, I kind of love that. You know, everybody's getting
We're on a budget. We're on a budget.
Yeah. Madam Prudence bids you welcome. How do you guys respond? And kind of paint me a picture here. Are all of you together? Are you some of you, I imagine this is because this is a deceptive approach, you might want to take a different tack. What are you guys doing?
I think Harlow's going in alone since she is a known patron. It would be kind of weird if she rolled up with buddies who she's not here. Like, anyone she comes with is going to be assumed that she's doing business with. So I think she's going to go in alone for now. And she did actually clean most of the blood off of her. Probably all of it, actually, except for like what's in her clothing that she can't quite get rid of. But nothing, like she cleaned up, she's following the rules. She's a known paying customer. She's even, kind of fluffed her short blonde curls a little bit.
I was going to say, what does Harlow wear when she visits the Golden Cat?
She actually ditches the natural philosopher coat. For now. She's working up to it. You would be really bad as if someone at the Golden Cat laughed at her for wearing the coat. It wouldn't go over well.
Aww.
So she's actually looking quite a bit like her old self. So she's wearing something similar to what Lizzie Stride was wearing. Lots of buckles, lots of bare, muscly arms, lots of visible tattoos. She is wearing shoes. Big distinction. Maybe put a little bit of body oil on.
I kind of like the idea that we have half the crew coming in like Doc right now, right? And half the crew like sneaking in the back.
My thought was that maybe Wick could kind of do his own thing as a man of society, and then me and Grissell could maybe be more sneaky about
Mhm.
things and kind of more talking to the girls.
Because
For
Wick
sure.
could just as easily show up and pretend to be well, not even pretend to be, just be a client. Like legit. I mean, that's Doc's plan, right? And
Yeah.
you know, if we don't associate initially, who will be the wiser that we're working together?
Right. We're testing the waters. We're not meeting anyone specific at this point, so we kind of need to cast a wide net, I feel like, in order to figure out what our best options are. Doc is going to ask Prudence if one of her favorite employees is there. Her name's Aoife.
Okay.
She's from Morley.
By the way, are you referred to as Dr. Harlow by Madam Prudence? Have you always
Probably
introduced-
Ripper.
Yeah.
Or Ripley. It might actually be, or even Miss Harlow,
Mhm.
because this isn't a place where, I mean, everyone there knows what she does. The doctor bit is questionable. She's still rolling that out. But they all know that she's a smuggler. But this is a refined establishment. Someone named Ripper walking around the halls probably isn't great. So,
Mhm. Okay, and oh, Miss Harlow, yes, of course. Aoife will be free momentarily. Currently, she's working with some other clients in the gold room. But as soon as she's available, I will let you know. If you would like to make yourself at ease and comfortable in the meantime, please. And she gestures towards the couches in the receiving room. Or if you feel like you would like to freshen up, there's always the baths.
that's rather rude. She considers a moment. Obviously the receiving area has a larger range of people who will be there, and possibly easier ways to just strike up conversation. But the bath, A, is very nice, and B, allows for more privacy.
Mhm.
So she's going to opt for the baths.
Excellent. And so you are kind of ushered to the toilette, where you are allowed to go ahead and take on a towel, undress to your comfort, and add that into your locker, which you're not sure just how handsy the people going in kind of get with the lockers in terms of opening them, but they're available if you would like to. And seeing as you have a light load, that might make sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, you make your way down to the baths. Where are the rest of you guys? What approaches are you taking?
I was gonna say, I feel like Wick is gonna walk in through the front door after Doc separately. You know, we space it out by a few minutes or what have you. I feel like it is specifically one of our tasks to let the other two in.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or to let each of you in from separate places. I'm not sure what makes the most sense. Like, how elaborate do we want to be?
I feel like if for the deception, I know that we know that Prudence knows everybody that works there, but if you're hoping to sort of like start the conversation and surreptitiously have one of the working girls come over with like the wares to show other clients, I feel like that's what Grissell is doing. So I probably need to be let in through like the either the back way that leads up to the working girls' rooms, or through one of those VIP exits or entrances.
And I think Antha wants to honestly go with Grissell. I mean, Antha's going to be uncomfortable with this no matter what. But I think Antha might also, if Grissell is kind of having the working girls help, bring these items out, Antha might even be trying to help sell these to the working girls.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Money backwards and forwards. Love it.
Why not?
Okay. In that case, first off, Wick, have you ever been here before?
I mean, I think there's a slim chance that he hasn't, right?
I mean, this may be how Wick and Ripper met.
Yeah,
Ooh.
he's bored. He
Just
used to be extremely rich, and he loves
smoking cigars.
debauchery.
Yeah. So just smoking cigars at some point in the common area,
Sure, totally.
drinking whiskey.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely. I think that yeah, as you kind of enter in, Master Shamwick. Pleasure to see you once again.
Madam Prudence, likewise.
Yes, so will it be the usual this fine day? Would you like to partake of one of our happy hour specials? Perhaps we can also make
Madam
available...
Prudence, don't insult me with your happy hour special. Come now, that's for the plebes. Now, who do you have that's new? I'm bored.
Well, we actually do have a fine young lady, courtesy of the Isle of Serkonos. She comes all the way up from the fine south to Grissell and has graced us with her tenure here at the Golden Cat. She is a lovely woman by the name of Carissa.
That down. Lovely. That sounds fantastic. Who else?
Well, in addition to Carissa, if you are feeling a little bit more desirous of some home, so to speak, some home. I want to say hometown hotties. It's terrible.
Just say it.
Some hometown hotties.
There it is.
Here in Dunwall, we have, depending on your pleasure, a young lady named Daphne and a young gentleman named Aramo.
Daphne Aramo?
Daphne or Aramo. Aramo being our young gentleman, of course.
Fantastic. I'll take all of them, thanks.
Very well, at once. I will let everybody know. And as she begins to move about the parlor to make arrangements, I would actually like you to make me a fortune roll with your either your survey or your, I think it's your survey skill, right?
Sure. Study?
Study, that's what I meant.
All right. 2 on study.
Okay.
Oof. 1 and a 2.
Okay, 1 and a 2. All right. Yeah, so what do you do as the madam is off to procure your services? Or services for you, I should say.
I mean, I'd like to. So, Antha has like acquired a dossier of who is likely to be here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah.
So, who are some people who Wick knows who are here this evening?
That's a good question.
Sorry, Zach.
So many NPCs.
Keep checking out the names.
Yeah. Actually, let me ask you. Do you have anybody? Who are your contacts? Do you have anybody? Who's your up and who's your down?
All right. So my positive contact is Camilla Bonetti. She is a lawyer working for city barrister Arnold Timsch.
Mm-hmm.
And my enemy, who is definitely not here unless things go terribly awry, wink, is Oren Fitch, who is a bootleg elixir distributor for the Bottle Street Gang.
Ooh, okay. So we've already established with our kind of canon here that the Bottle Street Boys are not welcome. So
Yes.
there is no chance of Oren Fitch being here.
Wink!
None whatsoever. I will say actually this. I think Arnold Timsch is here.
Shit.
Okay, great. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Wick thinks that this is great. Like Wick is excited about this because Tim's is the one who got us the shop in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
The shop that the back alley charmers work out of used to belong to some other people, was repossessed by the city, in under totally legal means because the people who lived there had the plague, and that was a real thing that was true. And through Camilla, Wick was able to finagle a meeting with Timsh and get the property.
Yeah, absolutely. And Timsh, I think whether or not you heard it through Camilla or whether or not you kind of remember this from your discussions with her or your discussions with Timsh, you know that he is here, probably in the Golden Cat at some point. If you would like to kind of make contact there and kind of see if you can persuade him to undertake additional business, it's one thing. Or if you would like to remain a little bit more on the legitimate side, you can take another avenue.
Yeah, okay, cool. So Wick definitely wants to do that, but I gotta get the rest of the crew in here first.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm currently waiting for my girls and boys, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can wait, or you can try to you can also try to sneak off. What is your approach?
Okay. I mean, do I see? Is there anybody else in the waiting area currently of note?
Go ahead and actually, Caitlin, draw another card for me, please.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, why? Oh no.
Oh no. All right. Give it a shuffle.
And if it's Sam the boatman or the witch,
Or Granny.
yeah.
All right. Playing the deck. Top card is.
Okay, who's that?
That is Trevor, I think.
Yeah,
that's
it's like one of the
Trevor.
Pendleton
Nobility.
boys.
Excellent. I was hoping it would be that. You see, I believe it's Custis Pendleton.
Oh God.
Ah,
Okay,
jeez.
great.
Get out.
Just
Pendletons have arrived. Things are gonna get gross.
Yeah, he is sitting. He is.
Oh, man.
He's kind of like impatiently drumming his fingers on his knee, and he's just kind of like just there's this. You know when you just see somebody that looks at the world like they're a shark. That's kind of like that's the vibe you get off of Custis.
Great. So, as a matter of social etiquette, how gauche is it, if at all, to approach somebody and identify them in the waiting area of this establishment?
Does Wick care about being gauche? Has to be said.
Peers, certainly. So yeah, Wick definitely cares about, like, if he's going to make a deal with another member of the aristocracy, he definitely cares about the correct way to approach that. At least he will pay lip service to it. So is this like, we're all here, we all know we're here, we're chumming around, or is it like this is discreet?
So make me a fortune roll. I think this would be either your consort or your persuade. This is just how well you like. It may not necessarily be how well you know the custom. It's going to be how well you've heard of Custis.
Okay.
Yeah, like by reputation.
So this is 2.
Okay.
The full spread, 1 and a 6.
Okay.
Out of
Don't
6.
for the the thing that's ringing in the back of your head is do not approach Custis Pendleton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
Good life advice.
Yeah, this guy basically is a disaster waiting to happen to anybody that pisses him off.
Great. Then I want to get him to come to me. So, Wick is going to take a seat, sort of very ostentatiously flip out his coattails as he sits in, a plush velvet, red velvet seat, cross his legs. And I think, sort of as he's flicking his jacket back into place, like a cheap fucking watch dealer. He wants to make sure that Custis Pendleton gets sight of the very high quality bone charm that he has tucked into the inside of his jacket. And he will, I think, let's say there's a humidor, he'll grab a cigar and begin trimming the end.
Yeah, and I think that he's just looking straight ahead, this practiced obliviousness that you see the aristocracy take on for people they believe are beneath their station, just like drumming angrily the fingers, and then as you draw open the coat, the fingers stop. He reaches out to grab a cigar from the humidor, cuts it, and takes a wood match and begins lighting it. That's a fine piece.
Oh. This old thing. Well, thank you, my lord. I see you have a discerning eye.
One could say that, certainly.
Well, this piece of mine, you wouldn't be interested in acquiring it, would you?
I suppose it would depend. I'm a collector of fine art of much make, and I'm certain that I might know somebody who'd be interested, but what exactly does it do?
What does this one do?
I was about to call for a flashback because I think I put a bone charm for Wick, the one that you were carrying before. Like, I think I have a lot of the rest. That whoever is wearing this, if they wear it for about you have a timer on this one, because if you wear this for longer than about 2 hours or so, you become really complacent to suggestion.
Interesting.
Which was perfect because, like, I think the setup was we're trying to get a lot of these people to buy stuff from us. If we can already set up one person of the nobility or high ranks that is like just somehow super into what we're doing, everyone else is going to follow suit. So get somebody to get this one off of you ASAP by the time the rest of us come in.
Interesting. Okay, because here's the thing. I don't want to fuck up Grissell's plan in that regard, but I also feel like that effect specifically is something that would interest Custis Pendleton.
Yeah.
Why would that fuck up anything? That's
Well,
okay. That's a good thing. Like, we want you to sell that to one of the other people that's there, so they're holding it for the time limit.
But Custis wouldn't use it for himself. If he knew about the time limit, he would want to use it.
Don't tell him about the time limit.
So I'm going to say this.
Don't tell him about the time limit. Why would you do that?
So Grissell marked 2 stress for the flashback.
Oof.
Very good use of a flashback. And yeah, what is your intention with this bone charm, Wick?
Okay, so Wick will say to Pendleton, well, you know, these superstitious commoner types, they the one I got this off of said that this has a certain power of complacency over individuals. If one is to wear it for a certain period of time, then their mind will become clouded and open to suggestion. I'm, of course, more interested in it for its aesthetic value.
Make me a persuasion roll. You may push yourself.
Cool. So I'm starting with 2 for persuade. Can I get an assist from Grissell's flashback?
Oh, absolutely. I would say.
So I'll take a die for that.
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk outsiders bargains, baby.
Ooh.
What can we have? What can we put on the table?
So what I can say is, all right, so we could have this have a corruption effect as well. Maybe basically whoever holds on. Well, I'm trying to think of what is going to be the most difficult for you guys. Let me actually open this up. Who has an idea?
What would be interesting?
A part of me thinks that you held on to the bone charm just shy of its own time limit, and you are, even though you might pass this off, even though you pass this off to Custis for the rest of the heist.
I have lingering suggestibility.
Exactly, yeah.
I love that, and I'm taking it. Yeah.
All right. So lingering suggestibility on yourself is
yes.
what. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and take 4 dice.
Great.
Okay.
I can't believe you took that.
I'm totally taking that. Are you kidding? It's great. Okay. Highest is a 5. So we're at mixed success.
Mixed success. And he looks at the charm. Do you kind of give it to him, or what do you do?
I think I'm maybe just displaying it in my, tucked into my inner pocket here as we're discussing it. And maybe I've taken it out, and I'm sort of, holding it in my hand. I want to be able to, I mean, these things are illegal.
Yeah.
I want to be able to, I'm being subtle about it. Like, I can tuck it back if a watch member walks by, I can tuck it back into my coat very quickly. But, I'm holding it in my hand.
And I think that he looks at you and he looks at the charm and he says, "Prove it."
Prove what?
Prove the effect of the charm.
Well, my lord,
are you wasting my time?
No, certainly not. I thought you would be interested in an art object. I'll tell you what, my lord. Let's see who walks past, and we'll play a little game. I'll just tuck it onto them. We'll wait a period of time, and then we'll see how suggestible they are.
Caitlin, draw me another card.
Oh my god! I have to go through 2 days of this, dear viewers, with card pulling.
I've removed all the 3 that we've used from the deck. Just so you know, Zach, there is a card for the twins in particular.
Excellent.
Oh my god.
I would love that. Let's see what happens.
Oh, an absolutely wild development.
I love it. Yeah.
It'd be wild for Morgan to show up at this point. Other Morgan. Terrible Morgan. Right. Sorry, I keep orienting these the wrong way, so they're safe to be upside down if I pull them out.
Who is that?
That is the tall boys. The man on stilts. Which have not been invented yet.
Right. So
I think that's a watch member then.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and I think at this point, this is when he, you see him. I think that you guys are kind of obscured by a screen to one side of you. At which point, he just says, "Gabrin," and a City Watch member comes out from behind the screen. Yes, sir. Would you hold on to this for me? And he gestures at the bone charm.
And I wanted to like slip it onto somebody. I'll just I'll hand it over.
I'll tell you this. If you want to play that as like a sleight of hand thing, and slip it on him, we will retcon that.
Hold on. I have an idea.
Uh-huh.
I have a stupid idea.
Yes.
That Custis Pendleton will not find amusing at all.
Uh-huh.
I would like to do some close-up magic.
Okay.
I hold out the charm. I do this, and it's not in my hand. Where did it go? Don't know.
Are you wearing your gloves at least?
Yes, of course I'm
Okay,
wearing my
good.
gloves.
Okay.
What do I have to roll to make this happen?
Go ahead and give me. I believe it's like what it would be something physical. So let me see. Is it prowess? What?
I mean, I would say a prowl.
Yeah, prowl. Definitely. Make a prowl move for me. You could argue also for maneuver, but I'll say a prowl is for the best.
Yeah. Cool. And I'm gonna use. No, I'll start with the prowl. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use Rook's Gambit here.
Cool.
So I can take 2 stress to roll my best rating on a different roll. So I'm actually gonna roll my persuade here, with the explanation that I'm doing a bit.
Yeah. All right.
Basically.
At least half of magic is misdirection.
Exactly. So I think Wick makes a big show of it, like, oh yes, of course. Well, home. Where did it go? Mysterious. Ooh.
Give me that roll,
Where
magic.
could it be?
Are the worst.
Give me that roll, magic man.
And I don't want to spend too much stress on this. We're just gonna do 2.
Okay.
6.
Yes. All right. The charm is safely ensconced within the City Watch's pocket. Custis Pendleton.
I turn to Pendleton, and I give him a big wink.
And with that, we are going to cut over to the rest of our crew. Specifically, let's go with Antha and Grissell. What are you guys like? It's been a while. Like, Wick has been at work for some time. You know that he's supposed to let you into the Golden Cat, but it's been some time. What are you guys doing?
I think
Well, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think that we are outside. I think around the back entrance, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Grissell has definitely done a bit of a glow up against her will. I think there was a lot of Antha and Harlow fighting with Grissell in a bathtub, of like getting the constant like river muck out of her hair and beneath her nails while there was just yowling like a cat.
I feel like Harlow was probably the one holding Grissell down, and Antha was probably the one doing the scrubbing.
Yeah,
I have a fine layer. But in the end, because we talked about Grissell being sort of like the fence on the inside, she's all like dolled up. She's got makeup on that took 3 applications because she kept trying to smear it. Eventually you managed to get some rouge and some nice eyeliner on her.
So is she made up more to Harlow's tastes or Antha's tastes?
What
Like,
a question that
who
is.
decided on the color palette and the
Did Wick have no say in this whatsoever?
no.
I feel like you kept trying to come in through the door and they
Wick
just
was
kept
like,
shutting the door.
Listen, you're going to want my advice, and the fact that you refuse to take it is an affront.
Probably a little bit of both of y'all's taste then, in that case.
I mean, I am familiar with what the girls at the Cat look like.
Oh
That's
yeah,
true.
So,
absolutely.
If that's what we're going for, then for sure.
And I'm familiar with class.
Not a concern at the moment.
I have to wear some manner of coat over my garters and lingerie. Otherwise, how am I fitting the bone charms with my ensemble?
And you would probably run into trouble with the watch or curious patrons who have been turned away from the Cat. So yeah, I would assume that you.
So if we're all this to say, if we're out back and we're waiting, Grissell is pacing and she's just like, I'm growing a little impatient here. we can't really move any of this stuff if we're just standing around outside. And it's cold.
Zach, what is preventing us from just walking in? Is there like a guard at the door?
I would say that there's a guard at the door. I think that it's fairly minimal security presence, just because it's not it's not that kind of like advanced in the timeline yet. But I will say that I mean there might just be
Probably just locked.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can. If there's a guard that's just standing there, Grissell just like gives like Antha this like look and just goes, "Give me 1 second. Can you hold on to this?" And she just like opens up the coat with all the stuff in it and like hands it to you.
Antha takes it kind of awkwardly, kind of like,
Please don't drop anything.
Yeah, she's not really sure she wants to be touching this, but she'll.
Oh yeah. Some of it just seems really nasty. Like there's just like all kinds of ingredients in there that you like, and just things that have like pungent aromas. It's definitely, you don't know what kind of like magic you could be interfering with by touching it.
Yeah, I came stocked. I'm gonna go distract the guard so I can pick the lock on the door.
Okay. So,
I would like to flashback.
Okay.
Because I think it makes total sense that Antha might have spoken with, because again, I think she has contacts all throughout the city, and I think it makes total sense that she would have spoken with one of the girls, maybe slipped them a bribe to leave the door unlocked at a certain time.
Okay.
Oh, man, that's even better.
Absolutely. Yeah. Take what was it? Take I think that's just really I was gonna say just 1 stress for that flashback, and then I think because I don't think that that's too unreasonable. And yeah, so that door will be unlocked if you want to go ahead and roll to distract the guard, Grissell.
Yeah, I want to lure him away so that I can hit him over the head.
Okay. That is, yeah.
But I need him to, like, if I'm distracting him, then he's following me. I need to get inside, so I can't just bring him with me.
Excellent. Okay, so.
Why are you giving me this disapproving look?
Oh,
what are you gonna do with him after?
I could have killed him, but I'm just knocking him out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not a disapproving look. That's a you have created something I want look.
You can pick up the unconscious body on the way out.
All right.
I'm trying to find dental patients.
Is this
totally different?
Would this be a prowl or a skirmish?
I will tell you this. Well, debating on whether or not to persuade or not. Yeah, I think this is a prowl. I think that yeah, the guard's probably gonna like investigate regardless of whether or not like you're trying to seduce him or anything like that. But yeah, so go ahead and give me that roll.
We've got a 6 and a 5.
Okay. So yeah, I think that what you do is you like, how do you kind of lure this guard? Is it kind of like just like a look, or kind of like, help, please, assist me? What do you do?
I think I'm just, yeah, I don't want to roleplay that. I'm just gonna go up and do some good old-fashioned seduction on this dude.
Okay.
And just sort of like grab at his collar and sort of be like, no one's talked to me all night, and could you help a working girl out? And it's just like clearly pulling him away into like the darker area of the alley long enough for me to slam his head into the wall.
Yeah, I think exactly. I think he just kind of like, look, I just feel like I'm not supposed to be leaving the watch here, but you know, well, I guess I could make some time. Okay. All right. He just kind of just, so you want to talk? And you just slam his.
No, don't.
You slam his head into the wall, and our sensitive City Watch member is down for the count. Yeah, I will say this. I think that with a success, it's not a critical.
No.
But at the same time, I think that a success for a single member of the City Watch is fine. What would you make me a fortune roll for study real quick?
Do we need tarot cards?
No, not yet. I think this is
Fortune roll
just
for study. I have the 1 dice for that. Let's.
okay.
3.
A 3? Okay.
Yeah.
With that fortune roll, I'm gonna say that there's not like a dumpster bin you can unceremoniously drop his body into. What are you doing with him?
I'm just gonna kick him into the alley.
I mean, Antha will honestly totally help just like drag this body into a dark corner.
Okay, excellent.
Grissell is like out there now, just like, okay, give me the coat pack, please.
And Antha's just like, that was remarkably restrained of you. Good job.
Thank you.
As you begin putting the coat on, both of you hear at the back of your of the range of your hearing, slight whispers.
Antha's immediately on high alert.
Just like very kind of like a little like a light rumbling voice.
Where is it coming from?
It's coming from further down the alley.
Does this sound at all like the voice that I heard in my vision?
No.
Oh God, I
Had to
almost
ask.
had a heart attack. I feel like Grissell shares a look with Antha and just very quickly wants to get a little closer. Just in case she needs to knock somebody else out or worse if they're about to stumble upon this guy. This is the back way. What's going on here?
And yeah, so as you begin moving towards the back, I think there is a scurrying movement. And you see a swarm of rodents.
Oh, bye.
Yeah. And as
I've got a little effigy though still in my pocket that I'm gonna pull out.
Yeah, as you pull the effigy out and you hear its whisper, it sounds distinct from the one from the voice at the back of your head. What do you do?
The effigy is meant more like, hopefully, as like a protection, like I am one of you now. Leave me alone. As I'm backing up. So I don't want to mess with the rats, but if they eat the guy, hey, no one has to worry about stumbling across that anymore. Problem solved.
And as you let down the effigy, this large male bull rat that's black-brown rushes forward in front of the effigy, looks at it kind of like almost curiously, and you hear in that deep rumbling voice, now clear in your head, you hear, "What the fuck are you looking at?"
What?
Antha kicks it.
What?
You're gonna kick the rat? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Kick rat.
Give me a skirmish, all right?
No animals were
That's a
harmed
5.
in the making of this actual play.
A 5?
Wait. Well, actually, I don't have any dots in skirmish, so I rolled 1 die. But do I roll 2 and take the worst result since I don't have any dots?
You do.
Yes.
You roll the worst
Okay.
result.
Okay, let's see. That's still a 5.
Okay, all right. So mixed success. I think that I will say this with a mixed success. I think your boot just grazes the bull rat as you kind of like kick at it, and then it like looks back up at you, and you half expect the swarm is just going to collapse on you, and then you just hear it's in that same rumbling voice. You just hear, all right, we're going, and it scutters off.
How did you do that?
What are you talking about? Why didn't you take... Come on, let's go.
I was gonna try. I feel like you're dragging me like away as I'm like stuffing the effigy back in my pocket as we're walking. I was gonna have a conversation with that rat.
We'll talk about this later. You've got charms to sell. Come on.
Yeah, and you guys make it into the back way. Ripper, you are in the baths, I assume, by now.
Yes.
And I think you are... there is some attention being paid to you by some of the attendants to the baths. They're bringing beverages to clients and clientele. who do we see in this bathhouse that you would be most kind of like comfortable with or would know of?
In terms of broad categories, anyone in around the same level as Lizzie Stride, or anyone from the Academy of Natural Philosophy.
Okay.
Which might be an awkward meeting, but
yeah, actually,
not sure for
who. Okay, actually, I want you to go ahead. I will tell you this. Normally, I would say a card, but what I want you to do instead is I want you to make me a straight luck roll. Go ahead and give me. I'm gonna say combine your tinker and combine your study.
Okay. So just the total number of dots there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, that's not great.
We've had a tech.
Oh no, we got a tech issue.
Hang on.
Hey guys, give us 1 minute. I think we ended up losing Morgan by accident. We're just gonna go ahead and go on break until she comes back right quick.
PC just like shut down with no warning.
No
Just
worries.
kind of
That's
screamed.
distressing.
And-
Do you want your background back
Everything
on?
is okay.
And
Oh,
we're back.
oh shoot! I didn't even know. What?
No worries, we're back. Don't worry about it. You can add your background. Technical difficulties, folks, but we're good. So, Ripper, I believe you were making a fortune roll for me.
Yes. I got a 4.
Okay, on a 4, it's not a success. I will tell you this, but it is a mixed success. You spot your rival from the natural philosophy, but you manage to stay out of field of view. I think that he's behind a screen, and kind of reaching out, and you just kind of recognize the side of his face, and you kind of jump back into the baths. What do you do?
Has Aoife shown up yet? Is she still busy somewhere else?
Yeah, I think at this point, I think by this time, Aoife does arrive.
Okay.
And just, Miss Harlow, so happy to see you again. I'm sorry, is this a game we're playing?
Yes. And can we go to one of the deeper pools? Are any of them, I know they're not exclusive, but I'm trying to just, have some alone time. My recent recently acquired business partners. Just
Oh, I'm happy to acquiesce
Too
for
busy.
alone time, Miss Harlow. And she takes her hand into a deeper part of the baths. So while you are doing this, yeah, what are you doing while you're kind of waiting for Wick? Or what is kind of like your plan?
Yeah, so originally I was, in case Wick couldn't do it, the backup was to send Aoife to go unlock the door. I think. Or at least ask her. I don't know if she would have done it, but Harlow was planning to at least ask for the favor. At this point, she is dedicated enough to not getting seen by Dr. Kilroy that she is instead going to basically use Aoife as a human shield because that would not go well.
Yeah, you're kind of maneuvering, kind of like looking around her.
Yeah, and the going deeper into the baths was a split-second decision that is going to cause problems because that is farther away from everyone else and literally any other potential customers. But she doesn't want to arouse suspicion by being like, you know what, never mind, let's go up to one of the other rooms. So I think that she is going to try and keep an ear out for where Dr. Kilroy is. In the main parts of this bathhouse, there is some amount of socialization possible. So that's her goal, is to be able to safely get back out there. And in the meantime, have some anonymous canoodling in the steam.
Okay.
Mostly to keep her head down, like just no one's gonna be able to see her if she's doing that. So it's
Excellent.
tactical. It's tactical.
So why don't you give me a prowl roll? Because that sounds what you're trying to do.
Okay. She's trying very hard on this one, and she's very stressed regardless. So I'm gonna take 2 stress, right?
Yeah, take 2 stress. If anybody has a outsider's bargain, we're happy to make it.
Anyone?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah, so it sounds.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead and make your roll.
2 3s.
Okay, so with 2 3s, as you are taking Aoife's hand and trying to kind of have her lead you away, you hear that familiar voice. Describe Dr. Kilroy for us.
Dr. Kilroy, like Aoife, is from Morley. Possibly Harlow has a type. He is maybe 10 years older than Harlow, so he's in his early to mid 40s. Very thin and spare, thinning hair, receding hairline. He is no longer employed by the Academy of Natural Philosophy because while he was peer reviewing Sokolov's research, the head of the Academy, his research into what would become the elixir, the recipe disappeared from his lab. And the person most likely to have taken it was, in fact, Ripper, who did take it. And up until that point, they had, as I mentioned earlier, kind of a nice friendship along business lines, but she would sit in with him to do, when he was doing research, both grotesque and also more mundane. And he had been encouraging her interests in the natural philosophies, of course, with the understanding that she was in no way trained or able to do her own research, but it's good to encourage curiosity in the masses. And also because it meant that she got better at bringing him what he needed.
Mm-hmm.
So after that whole theft was discovered, and he was stripped of his ranking and possibly his doctorate, Ripper has been staying as far away as possible because they had she doesn't want, she could probably take him in a fight, but she doesn't want to hurt him. And also, he knows people. Like, even if he's been disgraced, he still has some amount of pull. She doesn't put it past him to just stick a scalpel in her either.
Yeah, at which point, I think as if to realize your worst fears, you hear, "You!" And you just see this storming, half-naked Dr. Kilroy storming towards you in the middle of the bathhouse, like knocking away a passel of Morley grapes on a silver platter, and you hear it clatter to the tile of the bathhouse. There is a kerfuffle of kind of scared voices of male and female prostitutes as he kind of moves them aside to make a beeline for you. What do you do?
For a moment, it looks like I'm going to pull Aoife in front of me, but actually I push her out of the way after like half a second's consideration. And the first thing I say is, oh, Dr. Kilroy, you know, I don't think this is the place for any kind of conversation. I imagine
the fist flies out again to try to catch you in the face. One harm, you may resist this as per normal.
I don't think she's going to resist it on this one. He kind of does deserve to get a hit in.
Yeah, and I will just say he punches you in the face. You receive 1 damage, and because I rolled a 1 and a 3 on the fortune roll, ooh, that's so much harder than the City Watch makes it look. Ooh, oh, you have some nerve coming here.
It's a business establishment. Neither of us has been banned, to my knowledge. This is not the academy.
Don't you dare make a rational argument to me right now. Oh, he's just, there's a seething. Just, it's your fault. I'm even here in the first place. Can you imagine the commotion is beginning to build in the bathhouse as you are kind of having this very loud argument, or rather he's just kind of arguing at you.
So Ripley is she does have, you know, a red mark on her cheek. He did still connect, so it's not feeling great. She's also completely naked.
Yeah, and
which is making this more awkward than it needs to be.
Yeah, both of you are completely out of dress, and just I think the thing about it is, the strange thing is there is
classic naked slap fight.
Yeah,
you love to see it.
There is literally no I will say this,
between academic rivals.
Yeah, between academic rivals, and they're completely academic, because the thing that he's most concerned about is making his point and arguing at you, and not the fact that both of you are naked. And just like, what was it? There's no sense of like propriety there. It's all about, you know, no, it was my tenure, and is just yelling at you in full view of the entire Golden Cat.
I think Ripper's gonna try and restrain him to try and get him to calm down.
Okay. I think that's gonna be a skirmish, unless you'd like to argue for like an operate or a tinker.
I would argue honestly for a maneuver, because she's not trying to like hit him. She's trying to like just grab hold of his arms.
Okay.
So he can't hit her again.
Excellent.
And she's gonna put some effort into this. So, no, that's a 3 and a 2.
Yeah, I think that you just kind of awkwardly try to maneuver around, and the thing about it is it's getting more and more awkward as the prostitutes all kind of try to pull you off of each other, and everybody's
all sweaty, and
everybody's so slippery.
It's like there's like oils involved.
This is not how I wanted this confrontation to happen.
Yeah.
Ripper's, you know, going, you know, thinking that this is going to help. She's like, but I've made improvements on the formula.
But it was not even our formula to take. I took responsibility for that. And then you just
do you want to co-write a paper?
Look, don't try to distract me with scholarly endeavors. And then literally just like everybody's just like, gentle man, gentle lady, please just avail yourselves of our sir. Please just get away. And as you are having this confrontation, you just one of the guards from outside of the guard from the screen that's holding on to, that you've pocketed the charm into, Wick, A second one comes out from the screen, another one of Custis's personal guard, and you just hear him, "There's a nudie fight in the middle of the baths downstairs." And suddenly the other City Watch member says, and looks to Custis, and Custis looks at him and shakes his head. And at which point the other City Watch member looks at Custis, and he just darts down the stairs.
God.
Oh, well, it sounds like they have some new entertainment here this evening.
Yeah, and as Custis is kind of surveying all this, he's looking at you. He says, "I'm just waiting for my brother to finish." And he then looks back at you and says, and then looks at the City Watch and looks back at you. "So how do we know when it works?"
Well, how long has it been at this point?
I was gonna say, it's probably only been a few minutes, right? I think that probably maybe 10, 20. I think at this point, actually, I would say, a number of the people that you have kind of requested arrive with Madame Prudence in tow.
Okay, so I'll turn to Custis. I'll say, well, I'll tell you what. My people have arrived. I'll try to keep it brief. I'll meet you back here in an hour, and we'll see if we can play with your boy, but not like that.
Fine. And as you kind of get up, there is, I believe I said, Amaro, I believe it was Karina, or, yeah.
I've written down Carissa. Daphne, and Aramo.
Yeah, and Aramo.
Give like a small outing here.
Yeah, thank you. The small outing comes to you, and
A whole new crew.
yeah, this
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this is my second crew.
The second different hawkers. It's gonna be great. So Carissa, as you kind of like are making their acquaintance, Carissa, there is, as she looks at you, there is a moment of somewhat recognition. You have never seen this person before, but again, that whispering in the back of your head that you heard when you encountered those rodents, it is a different whisper that you hear, as one of you did draw the witch card. And that is where we're going to end this episode, mid-heist.
We don't even get to know what the whisper is.
I will say this, the whisper that you hear, it's of a woman, kind of with a very harsh, imperious tone, whispering of just kind of these vague things about one of my pupils, one of my charges, as you look on. And that is where we're gonna end. It is 6 o'clock, guys, so I do have to find a point at which to end. But
seems good to me.
Everything's going just fine.
I'm creating a distraction for you all to take advantage of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I need to sell to these people.
And maybe Dr. Kilroy will let me, like, he'll let me get some publication credit.
Yes,
No one else
that will
will let
totally happen.
I was gonna self-pub my monograph, but this would be better.
Oh my God.
Okay. So guys, thanks so much for joining us for this second episode. Things are about to get a little bit more wild and a little bit, yeah, I don't know how to kind of describe this episode. It's been a fun one, an interesting one. So guys, we're going to go ahead and go around the screen here and offer our shout outs and plugs. And I am then going to go ahead and let you guys stick around for the raid. Once again, starting from our same order, Caitlin, if you have any shout outs and plugs today.
Just if you liked the movies Crimson Peak and A Dark Song, and if you haven't watched A Dark Song, please watch it. It's fantastic. Then check out The Death of Jane Lawrence in October.
Excellent. And Marcy, any shout outs or plugs this week?
Yeah, well, the usual. Thanks everybody for watching today. Do turn in back to Manapod Studios channel tomorrow at 4:30. Zach will be DMing yet again. I will be a part of the other cast for The Hole in the World as we continue our interlude story, The War Report. It's really fun. Come and watch us do some pretty wild shit. Things are about to get real crazy. Also check out our YouTube channel if you want to catch up on a couple of episodes for Flights of Fandom. We're hoping to start getting up some of our past flights onto the channel too. So if you're looking to see what else we've done, that'll be the place to do it. And if you ever want to suggest a fandom that you want to see us play in, or you might want to play in one yourself or potentially DM, you should join us on our Discord and join us in the Flights of Fandom channel so we can connect.
Excellent. And Morgan, do you have any shout outs or plugs this week?
No shout outs, no plugs. Thank you all for tuning in. Yeah.
And finally, David, any shout outs or plugs this week?
Yeah, so if you want to check out games that I've designed, go on over to dbb-8.itch.io. You can get mostly free games there, RPGs in the style of this and in the style of others. So go on, check that out. I will, of course, be back here next week, same bat time, same bat place. So hope to see you right here next week for the next one of these.
Excellent. And finally, just on my own part, guys, coming tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. EST, you are going to see some more Invisible Sun action in the War Report. Join myself, Marcy, Hopper, and Marissa and Bill as we kind of play through this interlude set in the time of war during the Invisible Sun. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And on top of that, just be good to each other and come game with us. It's going to be a fun time. Thanks again, and stick around for the raid, guys.